So days 2 through 4 of free agency have officially passed, and let's go over what moves every team did and grade every player that they signed or traded for. Spencer Dinwiddie signs with the Washington Wizards for a 3-year, $62 million deal to pair with Bradley Beal. Now the Wizards for this get a B+. This is a great signing. After losing your all-star point guard in Russell Westbrook, you get Spencer Dinwiddie, who's a pretty promising young player who has some potential, who can shot create, who can play make pretty well. His playmaking is very underrated, and he's just a nice point guard to have. Bradley Beal, I think he's gonna stay with his organization until he can, and Spencer Dinwiddie will make sure he stays because Spencer Dinwiddie has some bright spots in him. You know what I mean? But yeah, this deal was a sign and trade, but it didn't make Brooklyn any stronger. They got a couple second round picks from this. They didn't get stronger, so I mean, the league is in good hands when the super teams don't get stronger. And then the next player that moved teams was DeMar DeRozan to the Chicago Bulls. I actually did a whole video on this just the other day to see what the Bulls have been doing in free agency. Make sure you go check that out. DeMar DeRozan signed a 3-year, $85 million deal with the Chicago Bulls. And, I mean, the Spurs got back that young first-round pick and a second-round pick for the Spurs. This is an A+. They get something back for somebody who might just leave in free agency for nothing. That's good. The Bulls, they get a B. DeMar DeRozan will get you to the playoffs. He's a pretty nice player to have, a much improved playmaker. He's just a nice player to have. And yeah, he won't show out for you in the playoffs. We've seen that in years past. But, I mean, the Bulls are just about making the playoffs. Like I said before, make sure you go check out that video. It was a whole breakdown of the Bulls offseason so far. And then the next thing that happened was Jon Collins signs a 5-year, $125 million extension with the Atlanta Hawks. And the Atlanta Hawks get an A. Jon Collins is about the perfect player you can put next to Trae Young. He can shoot threes. He's a really good finisher. He's a lob threat. And he's developing a mid-range game too that was pretty solid in the playoffs. He played pretty damn well in the playoffs. Besides defense, he's the best type of player that you can put next to Trae Young when it comes to being a forward. And then the next deal that happened was Campbell Walker to the New York Knicks. And he got bought out by the Thunder, and he signed with the New York Knicks on a 2-year, $16 million deal. The Knicks get a B for this. This is a shot-creating, playmaking point guard who's pretty efficient. And also, if he doesn't work out for you, I mean, you're only paying him $8 million a year on a 2-year contract. But if he does work out for you, after those 2 years end, you'll be able to extend him, which is great because you will have his bird rights so you can go over the cap. New York, this was a really sneaky good decision. You need a point guard. Campbell Walker will help that out for sure. Okay, hold on. This is some big-ass news, bro. In the middle of recording this, Kevin Durant signs a 4-year, $198 million extension with the Brooklyn Nets. The Brooklyn Nets get an A++. Their big concern was the 2022 free agency. Look, James Harden, Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant all are going to be free agents at that time. That is going to be a very concerning time for the Brooklyn Nets. And now you lock up Kevin Durant for basically the rest of his career. KD is 33 right now. A 4-year extension is taking him to 37. And yeah, we see players age well. But having Kevin Durant till he's 37 years old is amazing. Nobody has had that type of security over Kevin Durant since the Thunder did with a rookie contract. And even then, that's a rookie extension like every rookie gets that. The Brooklyn Nets get an A++ for a Kevin Durant extension. If I'm a Brooklyn Nets fan, I'll be hype as fuck. Okay, but besides the KD extension, let's get back on the script. Julius Randle signs a 4-year, $117 million extension with the New York Knicks. The Knicks get an A here. That's a team-friendly contract for an all-star. And not only that, bro, Julius Randle is looking like an improving player, at least in my eyes. Some people think of what he did as a fluke last year. But nonetheless, $29 million a year for an all-star and an improving all-star at that, it's a really good deal. Of course, he shit the bed in the playoffs, but man, that will come with time. Julius Randle with a $29 million a year extension on a team-friendly deal in New York City where you can also either trade Randle for a better star or attract free agents with Randle, and then if you get a Bradley Beal or something like that, that is a beautiful signing by the New York Knicks. And then the next signing that happened was Kelly Oubre to the Charlotte Hornets, and they get a C. They signed Oubre for around $10 million a year, I think, and Oubre is a nice player, nice defensive wing. He was a pretty good three-point shooter last year, the year before the time he was in Golden State, but I think Golden State kind of ruined him. I think he could still get back into that good three-point shooting habit. And yeah, I mean, he's shooting like 36% on 5 attempts in Phoenix. That's a nice three-point shooter. But however, though, the Charlotte Hornets have so many forwards. First of all, they were targeting Lauri Markkanen, which is not a good move. They also have Miles Bridges and PJ Washington and Gordon Hayward. Like, Gordon Hayward, you're going to keep. because he was getting you to the playoffs. You should keep Gordon Hayward, at least to me. Miles Bridges is a rapidly improving power forward who can shoot a three, who's getting better on defense and is very athletic. And PJ Washington is a nice offensive power forward. What are you doing, Charlotte? Unless you're going to put Kelly Oubre at the 2 and ruin him again like Golden State did this year, I don't understand that move. Victor Oladipo signs a 1-year contract with the Miami Heat. Miami Heat get to be here. If Oladipo doesn't work out, let him walk in free agency. If he works out, now you have his bird rights, so you can sign him to a deal that can let you go over the cap space and keep Kyle Lowry, Jimmy Butler, Victor Oladipo, Bam Adebayo, Duncan Robinson, all those players. And yeah, this was just simply a really good move. Victor Oladipo, if he does get back into that state of his career where he's an all-star level player, or not even that, just a really good role player, that's somebody you want. Victor Oladipo did not do much on the Heat this season because he only played like 5 games. But defensively, he was looking great, bro. I saw him in that game against Stephen Curry. He was clamping that jit up. You know what I mean? So I love the Victor Oladipo signing. That's a B for me. Dennis Schroder is in a very interesting situation. He turned down a 4-year, $84 million extension. For what reason? But right now he's in a different situation. He's trying to sign a deal with the Boston Celtics. And if the Celtics sign him for anything over $8 million, they are screwed. You would have to send the Lakers at least 2 young players or Marcus Smart, because they ain't taking Tristan Thompson in a sign and trade, or Marcus Smart to sign Dennis Schroder. So they better hope they get him for like a $6 million a year contract and then can re-sign him with bird rights on a bigger contract in another year. But you do not want to sign and trade the Lakers some more assets or some more strength. That team is so strong right now. You do not want to do that. So Dennis Schroder, for him, it would be a W if you make over $8 million, of course. You just had like the worst playoff series of your career, and getting more than $8 million would be amazing. But the Boston Celtics should really push down and make sure it's only $6 million or less, because you do not want to give the Lakers Marcus Smart or Romeo Langford and Aaron Nesmith. Okay, now we get into some of the smaller deals, and let's start with Kendrick Nunn to the Lakers. He signs for the taxpayer mid-level exception. A 20-year-old ring chasing is kind of crazy. If I was Kendrick Nunn, I'd chase a bag, but I guess if you get a ring, then you secure some money. A C+. The Lakers get a C+. I mean, his stats are kind of empty, and also in the playoffs, he's really struggled. So Kendrick Nunn, he's an okay signing. In the regular season, he will win you a good amount of games just because he's pretty damn good in the regular season. But in the playoffs, where you are looking to succeed because you want a championship or 2 before LeBron James and AD really age or something like that, then Kendrick Nunn's an okay signing. Hassan Whiteside to the Utah Jazz. Empty stats player. What can I say? Hassan Whiteside is like on the brink of being out the league soon, and it's not even because he doesn't put up good stats. He puts up nice stats, but everybody knows that you're empty as a bitch. He's not a good pick and roll defender. He sits back on the pick and roll to stat pad his blocks, and even then the defense is not that good. If Hassan Whiteside was actually an impactful player, the Blazers wouldn't have been the 8th seed last year. They would have been much higher in the standings, probably around 6. So Hassan Whiteside, he's about to be out the league soon. But look, the Utah Jazz gave him some money as a backup center. I guess you take it. Eric Pascal traded to the Utah Jazz for a 2nd-round pick is a D for the Golden State Warriors. If you're the Utah Jazz, this is a B. You get some more chemistry in the locker room with Eric Pascal and Donovan Mitchell. But Eric Pascal is an okay bench player. But the Golden State Warriors get a D. They filled this roster spot with Andre Iguodala, who is washed. He will give you chemistry, but he is washed as a bitch. And you traded Iguodala away in the first place. You could have just never traded away and have Pascal and Iguodala. Danny Green stays with the Philadelphia 76ers, a 2-year, $20 million deal. He shot 41% on 6 attempts from 3 this season, and he's a really good defender. That is a B move by the Philadelphia 76ers. Lock up one of your spacers and shooters and Danny Green. And yeah, you need that. You have no spacing in Philly right now. And also, I don't think a Ben Simmons trade is going to happen, so you need that spacing to be there. Reggie Jackson comes back to the Clippers on a 2-year, $22 million deal. That's a nice signing. He brought you some really good shooting in the playoffs. He is one of 5 players in the playoffs to shoot over 40% from 3 and hit 58 threes, which I'm pretty sure was Stephen Curry, J.R. Smith, Reggie Jackson, Jamal Murray, and Klay Thompson. By the way, out of that whole group, the only player to shoot 45% from 3 in that same playoff run was Jamal Murray. Best shooter in the league, bro. Lou Williams signs a 1-year, $5 million deal to stay with the Atlanta Hawks. Atlanta Hawks get a B. You need bench production. He doesn't bring you defense, but he brings you scoring, he brings you some playmaking, and he gives you some pick and roll production. Lou Williams is an okay signing. Really old. I don't know what he does, really. I think he's going to retire soon. But Lou Williams is a pure hooper. And as Cantor returns to the Boston Celtics get a C. He can't play defense. He's something offensively, just a little depth. The San Antonio Spurs get a B for bringing back Bryn Forbes. They sent him to the Milwaukee Bucks for 1 year to go get a championship and just bring him right back to San Antonio. And that is the video, y'all. Thanks for watching. I'm going to keep a lookout for any other moves that do happen, and I'll make sure to keep you updated. If you do want to stay updated on my thoughts of every single move, make sure to go follow my Twitter at LongLostTJ. Thank y'all for watching. Make sure to subscribe. And yeah, this is 11 videos in 12 days.
That's why I gave her back. They were boring and I do not be with that. Smoking on this tree, I eat with the cat. It be around me cause I don't trust a soul.